wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. Camouflage. Eyes in the sky. New covenant. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's time to get into formation. We gotta get ready for the battle. So call on your brothers and sisters. We gotta turn back to the scriptures. Stop making it all about you. Them preachers, they got it confused. Come out of her. Cause Yahuwah is our deliverer. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed, cause nobody's perfect. We're called by his name. We're called by his name. Seek him to be worthy. We should be coming together. There's power and unity. It's time to come into the order, cause we are a living prophecy. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities.
Shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's your boy, Michael Israel. You are watching Spiritual Combat. And tonight, I am here with writer and director Dennis Delemar. He is in the virtual studio. And we're going to chop it up with him. I think it's going to be a real awesome show. So what I am going to do is bring Delemar on in here. So stand by. All right. Shalom, brother Dennis.
Shalom, Michael. going on?
It's a pleasure to have you on the show here. Uh, you are a director, a writer, and a director, and we're going to get into all that. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn it over to you and just let you introduce yourself and let the people know what you do.
Man, first of all, praise Yahuwah for, allowing this opportunity to happen. And I appreciate you, inviting me on the platform. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about, got a lot of exciting projects going on. Just released a book called The Wilderness. It's available now, and also we have some productions in the works, some film productions in the work that I think people are going to be really excited about. So yeah, let's dive in.
So if you could, Delemar, go ahead. Just tell us how you came into the truth and your testimony and some of the trials you've been through, which that directly ties in to your book and to some of the other work you've done that we're going to go over tonight. But if you could just go into, I guess, the wilderness you were in.
Yeah. It started, I guess the preface before all this kind of started when I was in high school. I moved with my dad. I never kind of lived with my dad before, and I moved with my dad. And my dad was like, well, not high school, back up, middle school. My dad was very abusive. I went through a lot of kind of, he used to drink a lot. He was an alcoholic. So went through a stage of a period of time where it was just like I couldn't really just understand like what was going on just like in the world, because I'm like, what did I do to kind of just be beat every day, told every day you're never gonna be nothing, and just scared to kind of like just go home and just or maybe you got some marks on your face and you're scared to go outside or something. So it was a very trying time, and that was literally from I think 1997 to 2004. So like middle school, like 7th grade to like 12th grade, to kind of give you a little time frame. And
Okay.
yeah, so it was just a very very tough time because my grandma had passed. She was kind of like a mother to me because I never really kind of like really lived with my mother like other when I was like little, very very small. And so in that period, a lot of things went through my head. I thought about Yah forbid, Yah, uh, hallelujah, that it didn't happen, and didn't give you know um, any legway to the enemy. But thought about many times taking my life, because it was I have a definitely have a heart for people that's in violent situations of domestic violence, because you reach out to people and you can't really get help, and nobody really knows what to say, and then you're scared to reach out to help, because then if they the person who's maybe beating you or whatever, you know um it might get back to them and you might be in more trouble. So it's kind of like this thing you trap. And I used to always question the Most High of like, why would you allow me to be in this situation? I mean, what is real? And during that period, I remember like in I was 17, and I was in church at the time, and I grew up like Baptist and Pentecostal and that whole 9 yards. And I remember there was this lady named Miss Wanda, and we went to like this store, and she brought me a notebook, and she was like, a little green notebook, and she was like, you need to kind of write your thoughts in it and stuff like that. And I kind of, like a journal almost, but I thought that was kind of corny, like, you know, writing in journals and whatnot. It's kind of like, but I mean, it was like the only place that I could really kind of like escape. I felt like, because I felt like, real story. Even if I felt like some of my prayers, like when I was praying, it was like, man, like I'm praying to be delivered, but I'm still going. I still got to face this every day. Like
Yeah.
it ain't stopping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Most High, like what's going on? But looking back at it, I understand it now. But at that time, he was drawing something out of me. It was something he had to pull out of me. So he had to drive me to a space where like I had to write, you know, because it was the only thing I could think to do, you know, and I could get everything out on paper. So it started getting into like poetry and started getting to like, you know, these little corny things and like journal entries and stuff. And then over the course of time, it just began to manifest into like poetry, into like spoken word. So it was kind of like, to me, like spoken word and writing was like an outlet, like that I could express myself, because like nobody could hear me, so people could hear me when I write, you know. So fast forward a little while to college, you know, I'm you know, the gift is manifested in poetry, and this is when it gets to the truth. You know, one of the first aspects of when the Most High really started to deal with me. You know, I played college football, and I played football since I was like, you know, about 4 years old. And my senior year at Charleston Southern University, I was going to be the starting free safety. I was coming up on, you know, being a starting free safety, and it was like a big opportunity for me because I kind of fought my whole college career to kind of like get to a place where I could start. And that my senior year, it was just weird because, you know, the most I was working on, because two, you know, maybe a year before, I was like in Miami, like spring break, like, you know, going in. And then like the next year, I'm like going like a mission trip to like Baltimore, you know, like, so it was like a definite change. And when I came back from the mission trip, me and my friend Eli and Daniel, I don't know, the feeling about football had just left, you know, it was gone. Like whatever that passion was that I had over the years. And this kind of gets into the book because it, you know, it was football to me was a thing that my dad, he really liked, you know, earthly dad. And so it was like a thing for validation for me to kind of like, you know, hoping he would like kind of maybe accept me. So that's why I was really playing. I wasn't really playing for myself. And I think those feelings started to manifest in my senior year. So that it was a first, second day of the week. And we were praying. And I was just like, man, if this is the Most High, you know, saying that, you know, I like putting this feeling in me that I should quit football. Like I need to know. Like I need to know without a shadow of a doubt that this is him. I can't like be questioning it, you know? And so we went to the cafeteria, and it was this lady. Now I prayed it like 15 minutes, you know, 15 minutes. We went to the cafeteria. It was this lady in there, and I just felt a strong draw, you know. At the time, I didn't understand, but like, you know, the Ruach was drawing me to this lady, and we sat down. So we was like, man, let's go over there and talk to her. So we talked to her. Lady, I didn't know the lady, and man, it was like to this day, you know, I claim it as probably like the most inspiring moment of my life, all inspiring moment of my life, because it was almost like, you know, like Yahushua himself, like basically like it was like, I'm about to use your mouth. About to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm about to talk through you. And he, you know, he was just talking like, and it was just amazing because it was like, you know, I didn't know this lady, and this stuff, you know, she don't know me, you know what I'm saying? So it's nothing you can know about my life or what I'm thinking right now. And I just prayed this. So it was just like, man, like the ballot was in of like what direction we should go. And so we quit football, and it was a pretty big deal because, I mean, Charleston Southern is like a D1 AA school. So, you know, we play like, you know, nowadays they're playing like teams like, you know, Florida State, and, you know, some big teams like that. We were, you know, but it was my friend Eli, he was a starting quarterback, and I was a starting free safety. So you can imagine that quitting, you know what I'm saying, all of a sudden, because you heard from the Most High or something is going to cause a stir. So it did. And then ABC did a story on it. It was called From the Field to the Soul Field. And they were just kind of like, you know, so it was a big thing. And that was kind of the first instance I found out that when you stand for something, you know, you're going to find out very quickly, like who everybody is, you know, real quick. And that was the first time I kind of got a piece of that. And so the Most High started working with me, and I know what I was going to do next. and I started like going to like acting class. Well, no, I went to see Diary of Anne Frank. Was like my first stage plays I ever seen, and it was just amazing. I was like, man, this is fun right here. Like the acting, like what they doing, the expression, because it was kind of like poetry, but you're using the script and you know what I'm saying. I was like, that's cool. So I was like, I'm gonna sign up for that summer because I had to go to summer school. I was like, I'm gonna sign up, and man, I went to class and I did like some directing things, and it was just everybody started to see the gift Yahuwah had in me before I did really, because people would say like, you know, just say stuff. Like everybody would do a certain thing, and then you know it'd be my turn to do it, and it'd just be like it'd be just a separation of like, and then people would say something, and then my teacher pulled me aside, you know, later on and was like, man, you gotta like this is your gift. You have to do something with this, you know. And it was like the first time I was like, wow, okay, you know. And so went into school, got into the New York Film Academy, but didn't go. Long story short, but let's get into the truth now, like how I got really into the truth. So that's 2008. I was in the apartment, and I got this idea for this movie, which I at first I thought it was a screenplay, but it was a whole movie. I mean, it was the characters. It was like just a beam of information just hit me. Characters, all that. Fast forward to a year later, this story has now become a script, and I'm working on it. And this is one character in there, you know, I haven't produced this movie yet, but this is one character in there. He's very deceitful, and he does a lot of things behind the scenes to kind of like set in motion a lot of things that domino effect in that world, that world he's living in. So I'm at the computer one day, and I hear this still small voice say Constantine out of nowhere. You know, I'm like, huh? Like Constantine? What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying in my head. Like, and then the Most High was like, kind of like look him up. And so I look him up, and like one of the first things I came to, it said March 31st, you know, or March 7th, 321 AD, Constantine makes the first civil law to change the Sabbath to Sunday. And I'm like, what? I'm saying like, yo, that's something like this character that, you know, Yahuwah gave me in this movie that's like very deceitful, and he's like doing stuff, but what he did set in motion a whole bunch of other stuff that just, you know, really just wrecked the world, you know?
Right.
Like, what? I'm here tripping, like, like, I'm like, so if they got that wrong, you know what I'm saying? What else they got wrong? So you know how it goes once the rabbit hole, you know what I'm saying? It gets bigger, and it's just like, you know, on that process. So then it just got into the journey of just getting more refined throughout that wilderness of, you know, those years of, you know, traveling and getting to the point of, you know, getting a chance to go to, you know, Africa and Ghana, to, you know, just, you know, being homeless and going through different things, different life lessons, and getting to the point where got the true forgiveness from my father, you know what I'm saying? And this is what the book really dealing on, because, you know, a lot of the times in that, you know, I think, you know, Yahuwah sometimes uses pain, because a lot of this content you don't get, you know, if everything is good, right?
Right.
So a lot of this content is like, you know, a lot of my pain and just a lot of my just stuff I've been through that, you know, and a lot of praise also, and a lot of Thanksgiving, a lot of poetry, because that's what the book consists of, is open letters and life lessons and poetry and, you know, revelations and just things that I had over the wilderness, because he started showing me like that process of that, the process of why you don't go like strictly to the promised land is made like that, because people just think the wilderness is just there, like it's just, but it's like, no, he made it for that, to purge you of that slavery mentality. Because if that's not purged, you will destroy everything in the promised land. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like to get in, because they still had that mind state of slavery. You know what I'm saying? So like what I went through is just going through the same kind of relationship. Like, why I keep going through the same tests of meeting this same woman. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's these women. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I was coming at it from. And just, you know, but it was me. You know what I'm saying? And that common factor, and just, And just going back even to, I mean, when we really get deep about it, going back to lust, because I think that's like a really big thing with men is, and then how like relationships with men and women are introduced. You know, the first time I understood about relationships as far as a man and a woman, even sexually or something like that, was one of my grandfather's VHS tapes of pornography. You know, like that was like the first kind of like installment, which like kind of like warped my mind into what I think this is, or what I think, you know, XYZ. So this is what this journey has been on. The wilderness journey has been on. Not just information, because I think like a lot of times in like the Israelite community, like we get a lot of information.
Right.
We know, but we the same person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, we the same person. You came into it. It's like nobody, you didn't transform into a new creature.
Right.
You know, and so it's some principles, and not only just principles, just things that we can learn from how they felt in the wilderness, because it was only like, it wasn't that far to even go, but yet it took 40 years, and Yahuwah was like mad with them because, you know, they didn't learn that. So it's kind of more so comparing my journey with the journey of the Israelites. It just so happens that Yahuwah has had mercy, you know, to allow me to continue to go and to be able to share that with people now is those things. So maybe you can learn from my mistakes and things I went through.
Right.
Get better, you know. So
yeah,
that's
what we're gonna do, we're gonna play the wilderness trailer, and then we're gonna come back and we'll talk about that. So I'm gonna pull it up right now, and this is the wilderness trailer. This is on his YouTube page, and I'll show you. I'll let you know where the YouTube page is. But here's the trailer.
I'm so excited that you decided to come along on this journey with me. I've been through a lot. It's amazing that Yahuwah has kept me alive all this time. So right now, every breath is a thank you. Through the shadow of death. You know, some people get so caught up in religion, dogma, doctrine. But all I know is I was on the path to hell, and he saved me. This is 33 years in the making. Through the wilderness, through the fiery furnace, through addictions, homelessness, through being a big hypocrite, lust, through allowing this pen to connect with your ears right now, through terrible mistakes that has produced wisdom that has molded a man able to see how the wilderness was necessary for growth, to do a new thing. Behold, it springs forth. I pray that this book will be a tool that Yahuwah will use to lift you from the mud and bring you into the land where you become the person you were created to be. Here's a little sample from the wilderness. In the early 2000s, I can remember leaving that supply store with that little green notebook. Before that time, I don't recall writing things down. Well, at least not my innermost thoughts. I always thought that writing things down in a journal was a sign of weakness. But Ms. Wanda insisted that a journal could help me. She knew little but enough to understand that I was living in hell. The hell of smiling while your insides are crying. The hell of getting beat like a grown man until blood flowed out of your nose. Reason? You got a seal on your report card. Or my father was drunk and I forgot that speck of dirt on the countertop. Whatever it was, it created a 24/7 hell that no one could save me from. It's safe to say that pain drove me to writing that green notebook.
that's the Wilderness trailer for his book, The Wilderness, and the release date was November 11th. I'm sorry, November 28th.
Yeah.
So and if they want to purchase your book, where can they go to purchase it?
You can go to yahuaside.com. That's YAHUCHESED.com.
So here it is right here.
Yeah.
All right. And that's how it's spelled.
Yeah. Means Yahuwah is loving kindness.
And you also have some shirts there.
Yeah, I got shirts on there too, and some. Also, we have a blog on there where you can check out poetry from not only me but other poets also.
Okay. And if you could talk a little bit about your work with you're also a director. I'll play a while you're talking. I'm gonna set it up, but I'm gonna play a part from one of your movies that I checked out, and tomorrow night I'm gonna play some of his movies here on Spiritual Combat. So y'all can check his stuff out, and I'll show you his YouTube page also, and also talk about some of the projects you're working on.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The first project that's up is called The New Willie Lynch. So it's kind of like a poetic piece, but it's based off the Willie Lynch letter. Because when we deal, the first aspect we're tackling is kind of like lost tribe men, the men. Because we're facing, we got racism thing, then we facing our own people, ourselves, and then we facing against our women. So it's like we got a threefold thing. So it's kind of dealing with that and really getting to the solution of the meat of that. And that's the New Willie Lynch. That's kind of in production right now. We already got some submissions in. We just got to cast and just shoot that. That's going to be not sure right now. Hopefully in a month or two, it'll be released. Y'all willing. The next thing, which I'm really excited about, is called The Curses. Curses is going to be like a mini series. Right now we're exploring different platforms. Right now, it's a mini series based on Deuteronomy 28. So if you're familiar with shows like Black Mirror or like kind of like the Twilight Zone feel, where it's just very, those thriller type feel. This is kind of like in that vein, and it's really exciting because every episode covers a different curse and shows you like the depth of what it causes. Because we always think about, okay, well, what I'm doing may just affect me. You know what I'm saying? It ain't hurt nobody else. But then we don't look at the big picture, how it hurts somebody else and how this is connected to that and all the domino effects. So this is when you get to see like the grand picture of like really just sin in general, the destruction it causes, and then also, like the solution. So that's like one of the projects in development right now. And then the next one after that is called The Sacrifice, which is the sacrifice of Abraham and Isaac. The sacrifice of Isaac, and that's going to be very epic. And man, I'm really excited about that because that's just like, it's just a powerful thing because, when Yahuwah gave it to me, just seeing what Abraham saw and being able to visualize it and see it, you kind of understand the words of Yahushua when he said that Abraham saw my day and he rejoiced. Like you get to see what he, you know what I'm saying? You get to see and understand like what he saw when I don't want to give it away, but it's just really powerful. So that's kind of like the first, projects that are in development, and we just really want to get the message out about who we are, about and most of all who Yahushua is, and allow people to see, that in entertaining, but not just an entertaining way, but also done with excellence also, because it's time we kind of like, tell our own stories,
Right.
So
right.
that's what what I'm about and what we're about, the people that's helping. So
Okay, so what we're gonna do here is play.
Not
Hold
move.
on once. I'm gonna play just the beginning of
okay.
a short film that Brother Delemar made, or Brother Dennis Delemar made. It's called Jacob's Rose. So I'm gonna just play kind of the beginning of it,
Yeah,
and
Jacob.
I watched the whole thing. It's good. Brother's definitely talented, and so enjoy. And the title of this one is Jacob's Rose.
Yeah, Jericho.
Oh, Jericho's. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Jericho's Rose. All right.
Just come down, I said.
Calm down. You gonna tell me to calm down? In our bed? In our bed? Hey, don't move. Do not move. I'm telling you, do not move.
Just put the gun down, I said.
Oh my goodness.
Put the gun down.
Why would you do this in our bed? Huh? Hey, don't move. Do not move. I'm telling you. I'm gonna blow your brains all over this room.
Please.
Shut up. Shut up. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else. Don't move.
All right. So I'm gonna stop it right there. Y'all gonna have to watch the rest of that tomorrow night on Spiritual Combat, or y'all can check it out on his YouTube page. But talk a little bit about that. Definitely an awesome beginning to it.
Yeah, Jericho's Rose was a fun project. My friend Greg Watts, we just kind of like, I don't know, just seeing the homeless people like out there was just like really like, sometimes their stories don't really get told, and I believe I don't know what I was reading before, but it was just inspiring because it was a book. I remember what it was. It was a book that I think I was reading a little bit about. It was called Mr. Invisible, but it was talking about like how like homeless people like are invisible. So you have this situation where they're just like gone from society. People just walk by, or maybe you give $1, but that's like the highest level that you will go. And so wanted to kind of explore that world of like what is their story, because because really, I mean, if you really break it down, it's really just the favor of Yahuwah that keeps anybody from being there, because that's why you can't look down on somebody, because you don't know. It was a great story. I remember this one lady I had interviewed. She said that she was homeless. She said that it was her call to help other people get from being homeless. And she had like testimonies of like, there was somebody that was homeless that went on to be, a manager at this. And she was trying to get people. She was there and she was homeless, but she was helping other people to not be. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, this is incredible. So you just never know what somebody's story is, and to hear those stories and to see that in Jericho's Rose, I think is powerful, because it's effective,
And then if people want to get in contact with you or see your work, how can they do that?
Man, I'm everywhere on social media, Facebook, Dennis Delemar, just across the board. Not really on Twitter that much, but Instagram, Facebook, and then YouTube, Dennis Delemar, and you can find me. You can just link and connect, man, and just reach out, man. Let's build,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is his YouTube page. I'll pull it up. Okay. That's the YouTube page right there. So you can check him out there. And like I said, you'll definitely see Dennis on here a lot. Dennis, like I've told you before, anytime you're doing something, you bringing something out, hit me up. You come on the show anytime you want. Appreciate you coming on. I think the people, are real excited about what you're doing. I can tell by the comments and stuff in there. And, and I like to have people doing different things on here. And you definitely doing different things, doing big things. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up?
I praise you, Lord.
All right.
I think the only other thing is I mean, everything that we're doing is for the esteem of Yahuwah, and just really to, like I said earlier, is to tell our stories. And so I definitely need everybody's support. Maybe it's a like, a share, or whatever, to really get it, because, independent filmmaking is not, it's a battle. But, this is content for us, and we want to get to the point for all of us to where we can tell our story so the world can hear it, because we have bigger projects that Yahuwah has given us that are world scale type things. And so we kind of want to build that space, because it's for all of us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it's not just what I'm doing, but what we doing. So I want to just let that be known. So, put that out there.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, y'all. I'm Michael Israel. You watching Spiritual Combat? That was writer and director Dennis Delemar. Make sure you pick up his book. You got the website. You got all the information you need to get his book and enjoy some of his work. And with that said, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. You watching Spiritual Combat, and shalom. Hey Dennis, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's a spiritual combat. It's time to get into formation. We gotta get ready for the battle. So call on your brothers and sisters. We gotta turn back to the scriptures. Stop making it all about you. Them preachers, they got it confused. Come out of her.